lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
I catch everything.
On to this. One race left, and we crown the iSNF Sunday Night XFinity Series champion. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you, joined with me by my partner in crime, the man, the myth, the living legend himself, proud member of the Pennsylvania Posse, Dave Regal. Welcome to Nashville.
Tony, as always, great to be with you. Here we are in championship week for the iSNF XFinity Series. And I'll tell you what, the few races that you and I have gotten to work this season for iSNF XFinity have been exciting, and it all comes down to this. I'm excited. I know you're excited. The fans are excited. And we've got some folks in YouTube already anxiously waiting for the green flag to fly.
They are at that. But let's take a look at what that championship looks like. Alex O'Rilson, Charles Robertson, AJ Green, James Bowles just coincidentally happen to be your four fastest cars here in the practice session. Points don't matter anymore. Bonus points don't matter anymore. It's who finishes in front of the other three. That's your champion. It's as simple as that here tonight.
Absolutely. And here we are having afternoon racing on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, you know, so many things in real life, actually barely real life. It's fantasy football playoffs, week one for many leagues. And here we are in championship week. These drivers atop the pile right now, these are the ones that we're going to be watching. And I'll tell you what, if we had to start picking, I'm looking at my dark horse candidate today being AJ Green. He has some speed under him today, and I think he's got this track figured out, Tony.
Well, you're not wrong there as far as AJ Green always having speed, but we also have to consider, and let me see if I can find him, and of course he's not here. Or at least I don't see him. The man that won last night's truck championship, and that, of course, is driver of the number 78, that's James Bowles, going for his second championship of the weekend, has a shot to win all three.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When you can master one, that's impressive. When you can master two, you're really getting good. And when you have all three under your thumb, that's someone who is out here with an absolute mission.
Absolutely. And
I mean, right now, the Richmond, Virginia native, 23 years old, in that number 6 machine from RFK Racing, he's out here with a mission. And I'll tell you what, as we've got about a minute left in practice, I would say he's just pretty much sitting there having his Zen moment, clearing his head.
Well, let's find out. We do have a microphone in his car. James Bowles, Tony, and Dave up in the booth. Congratulations on the truck championship. You want to let us into your game plan here today at the Xfinities?
Thanks, guys. The truck championship last night was relatively pretty hard. Going into Nashville in the Xfinity Championship, I've got to battle with 3 of the pretty, let's say, fastest and also can be aggressive drivers: Alex Eraldson, Charles Robertson, and AJ Green. My game plan right now is to hang back, just watch what they do, because they're very unpredictable, and all 3 of them are very fast. Right now, I mean, out of practice, I'm pretty much the slowest out of the other 3, but if I can just get the car dialed in correctly and have it to where I'm comfortable enough to drive it and get it to a good certain amount of pace, I should be good to the end. And if the chest falls on the board correctly, then who knows? I might win the Xfinity Championship tonight. You never know. But I'm excited.
Well, you got to think big picture too, because you're racing this afternoon also for the Cup Series Championship in a couple hours.
Am I?
I believe you are.
Oh, no, he's not.
Oh, no, that's right. I do apologize. You did get eliminated last week. Yeah, unfortunate for that. But qualifying getting ready to get underway. James, we're going to let you concentrate on that. Best of luck to you this afternoon.
Also, yes, thank you. Also, I do have a question for y'all. I've been thinking of a nickname. How does the Charmer sound? Good, bad?
We can take it under consideration.
Take under consideration. All good. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. As qualifying getting ready to kick off here.
If you all can...
Qualifying underway as Chris Van Maastricht out here getting ready to start that first lap. All important with Taylor Butcher Benjamin crossing the start-finish line and getting his number 22 car underway here on his first lap. The 27-year-old out of Baltimore, Maryland, starting to lay down that time. And I'll tell you what, TBB has had an interesting season.
He has. It's been a kind of an up and down season for Taylor. Not really the finishes that he's deserved of, let's put it that way, as he's been caught up in other people's dumpster fires more times than he probably cares to admit to. Lay's provisional P1 immediately bumped off by AJ Green, though. Derek Cook goes 3rd quick. Times are coming in hot and heavy right now as Alex O'Reildson jumps up to quick time.
O'Reildson up there laying down a 30.53 according to iRacing timing and score. Of course, he's our Swedish entry from Perstorp, Sweden, and the 35-year-old out here laying down that second lap. We'll see if he can make it even faster. Nope, he's going to stop it right here.
Checking back in with TBB on his now 3rd. He's on his 3rd lap. 2 laps already in the books. Currently sits 3rd quick. AJ Green sitting 2nd quick as he's going to call it quits after 2. Jackson Carr, the newcomer, in that Freight 02, jumps up to 3rd quick now. Rodney Roberts, another new face to the league. Driving the Alka-Seltz number 4, Plop Plop Fizz Fizz, as he's currently sitting 6 quick.
Evan Clapper goes 5th fastest with a 30.72. He's coming out of turn 4 right now. A little loose as he comes onto the front stretch, crossing the start-finish line goes Clapper, and it looks like he's able to improve by 1 position so far and go P4.
Not too shabby. As checking in with Ricky Hudgens, there he is in the 48, the 47, I'm sorry. As he's currently sitting 6 quick now. James Bowles back in 14th. He's going to have to pick it up, and he's done. Qualifying done and dusted for the 78. Not where he was hoping to start at all. Brian Treadwell out on track right now as well in the Pilot Ace.
Clapper gets it all turned around sideways. Jackson Carr goes 3rd fastest. Rodney Roberts still trying to get a faster time as he's now coming around on his 4th lap, crossing the start-finish line. He gets it to a 30.8 coming across the line.
Good enough for 7th quick. As Charles Robertson going to be starting deep in this pack as well. One of your championship contenders, currently sitting 19th quick and on his final lap. And is not going to improve on that lap. Brian Treadwell looks like he may have caught the wall. That's not good for the Hancock, Maine native. Matty Moniak also out on track right now. And you can see all the right side damage on the one of Treadwell. Persevering on, though, so got to give him credit for that. And turn 1 is not being kind to Treadwell at all. He goes 29th quick and brushes the wall again. And looks like qualifying has now come to a close. Let's bring up tonight's starting grid. Starting up on the pole is going to be Alex Larilson out of Sweden with a 30.534. He's going to be joined with Upfront Motorsports' AJ Green, 27 thousandths slower. That is row number 1. Jackson Carr and Evan Clapper making up row number 2, with row 3 going to Taylor Butcher Benjamin and Ricky Hudgens. Rodney Roberts and Ethan Wolf in row number 4, with row 5 going to Mike Hamlin and Tristan Rivers. Brian Chu and Dawson Wise rounding out the top half of the field. Dave?
Jason Ricketts and Brady Shue going to be starting 13th and 14th in row number 7. Row number 8 made up of Mr. James Bowles and Bjorn Brostrom in row number 8. Christian Delgado and Derek Cook going to be starting in row number 9. Derek Cook on the outside, with Jeff Weimer and Charles Robertson just behind them in row number 10, rounding out the top 20. Griffin Williams and Casey Tomlinson going to be in row number 11. Row number 12 made up of Joey Maines and Chief Cook and Bottle Washer Rhea Farris. Jake Brooks and Chris Van Mostrick going to be in row number 13, with Matty Moniak starting in 27th, with John Hopley in 28th on the outside of row number 14. Row number 15 going to be made up of Brian Treadwell and Fernando Lopez, and Robert Lowe starting shotgun on the field, as Curtis Kelly will not be starting in this race.
So 31 cars scheduled to roll it here tonight. As we get ready to turn these drivers loose, just waiting for the last couple of stragglers to grid up. Come on, there it goes. Again, just waiting for a handful of drivers to grid up right now. Alex Larilson in the best position he possibly could be, starting as far forward as it can, starting up on the pole today. Everybody else behind the 8 ball already, trying to get by him to win that championship today. Taking a quick look at our point standings one more time. Arildson, Robertson, Green, and Bowles. Those are the four we've got to keep our eyes on. Arildson starting up on pole. AJ Green going to start right next to him. Unfortunately, Charles Robertson and James Bowles going to be starting deep in this field. Bowles 15th, Robertson 20th.
Just a few last-minute comments from Rhea Farris as she's talking to the drivers on race radio, making sure everything is all buttoned up here as the iRacing.com pace car is holding the field down on pit road, waiting for that all-important command to start rolling. Going to have one warm-up lap today. I'll tell you what, Tony, I'm starting to get that feeling.
Absolutely. And Dave, if I could have you monitor the live chat for us, that would be great.
I am all over it.
So we've got all the drivers. Okay. SDK changing things on me, not to my want. So we will have to work on that between now and the Cup Series race later. But for now, Rildson going to have the buttons. The field starts to roll behind that official iRacing pace car. Dave, this is going to be a fun one.
Absolutely. Taking a look right now at AJ Green, the 18-year-old out of Clemens, North Carolina. He's going to be sitting on the outside here of row number one. And from all of my experience here at NASCAR, at Nashville Super Speedway, that's going to be the preferred line, especially for restarts. And, you know, of course, we're looking at 100 scheduled laps today. So a total of 100 miles around this piece here in Nashville. And I'll tell you what, Tony, as we go into turn 3, I'm ready to rock and roll. Are you?
I am absolutely ready to rock and roll. So is the field. As the field works its way through that 3-4 complex, the only thing left to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some barbecue because it's time to get it on in Music City. Race fans, it's show time!
Green flag, green flag.
They're patiently waiting to enter the Geico restart zone, crossing the start-finish line, and the green flag waves here on Championship Sunday in the iSNF XFinity Series. Nearly 3 wide as they get ready to haul it off into turn 1. Alex Arildson holding that bottom line
we
very
got one
well.
in the wall already.
Oh my, here we are in our first caution.
Looks like that may have been John Lopez, or John Hopley, sorry. And I'm probably wrong on this one. And it looks like I am.
I am searching desperately for what happened.
It was Derek Cook in the 99. So there he is on the outside as we're looking at this again. Brushes the wall coming into the tri-oval. Tries to get a run. Spins the tires just a little bit. He's already in a 3-wide situation as they get to the start-finish line.
Oh,
And
it just comes across the 11.
The old Spanish archer from the 11 there sends him up into the wall. Charles Robertson trying to get as far forward as quickly as he can. Unfortunately, getting into the 99 having a ton of right side damage now.
Well, maybe we'll get another clean lap in today.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Pretty much going to be a complete restart here.
Absolutely. And as we had mentioned earlier, 100 total scheduled laps today. Stage cautions are going to be at lap 25 and 50 unless a wreck caution comes out within 5 laps of the end of stage. 3 extra sets of tires, no fast repairs, and 65% fuel load. We got to keep an eye on everything here with tons of rookies in this race to gain some seat time with the league and earn their way into a cup ride for next season. And, something that I've always found interesting, Tony, is, Rhea runs this league very well with her team of leadership here. And, they really do hold people's feet to the fire a little bit as far as making sure that you're getting enough seat time in one level before being promoted.
Yeah, and that's something that, is truly, it's a thankless job. It's something that they really work on here to make sure that everybody can get that seat time as needed. And they're not afraid to call people up either. It's very easy to become a sub if you're a newer driver, but, definitely something that this league prides itself in.
Absolutely, and as we get ready to rack and restack, Alex Arildson going to have his finger on the button on the inside. Jackson Carr on the outside of row number 1. AJ Green, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, and Evan Clapper going to round out the top 5. Ethan Wolf, Ricky Hudgens, Tristan Rivers, Mike Hamlin, and Brian Chu make up the top 10 as the iRacing.com pace car brings us into turn number 3. I'll tell you what, with 31 cars, now 30 on track today, there is not a whole lot of space for parking anywhere. So everybody has to be really aware of who's around them and what everybody's doing. I mean, you've raced together all season long. You know everybody's habits. And just as we had spoken earlier, pre-race, sometimes it's better just to lay back and watch what happens. As the iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road, Arildson brings us into the Geico restart zone. He takes off, and we are back green flag racing at Nashville.
2x2 behind him, though, as Green and Carr go door to door going into turn number 1. Green down on the low side, Carr up on the top shelf as they file back in. Now single file for your top 5. It's Taylor Butcher Benjamin trying to make it happen on the outside. We're back under caution. That didn't take long at all.
And we are pacing again, taking a look at what may have happened this time.
Looks like it may have happened around the boss lady. There's the 39 of Rhea. She had a lot of damage on the back of that car as we went to caution. Let's keep our eye on that 39. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the one car may have gotten a little wild here. A little checkup in front of Rhea between the 74, and the one car just gets into that back bumper.
And you're watching Arco Break Weekly here, presented by the iSNF.
And speaking of what we're watching, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the iSNF XFinity Series live on Sim Racing Media. We're broadcast on YouTube.com. Glad to be with all of you. Tony Trapasso and Dave Regal here in the broadcast booth. Make sure that you're giving us a thumbs up there in YouTube. Make sure that you're sharing this, subscribing if you haven't done so already to the Sim Racing Media YouTube page, as it helps your friends and family get seen a lot more out here in the land of sim racing. And believe me, it means a lot to these drivers who have put in a lot of work this season to be noticed for what they've accomplished.
And even though we are in the holiday season and a lot of leagues getting ready to wrap on up, we've got some leagues that are still hot and heavy in the middle of their mid-season action. So we do still have content 7 nights a week here on Sim Racing Media, and that's going to expand as soon as the new year gets to us, as we are going to have multiple races every night of the week coming up here. So hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action here on the Sim Racing Media family of races. As a matter of fact, Dave, we had a great one last night with the Thunderclap guys bringing their Snowball Beer Brawl to the series. And
yeah, I heard that was a good one.
It was. I wish there were more drivers that decided to risk alcohol poisoning, but regardless, still got another shot at it the first week in February. They're going to be doing the 24 Beers of Daytona, a 2-day event spread out over 2 days, I should say. 2 races on Saturday and 1 on Sunday, so that should be a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, taking a look around everything that we're doing on Sim Racing Media, folks, make sure that you're keeping involved and following us on Facebook, Twitter, and here on YouTube, because like Tony just said, we have racing every night of the week. And, Tony, I know when I came into this last year with you, it was, we had a couple of nights that were hot and heavy, and then there were some nights where we were kind of cool. But I'll tell you what, things have really picked up on Sim Racing Media, and we are busier than one-armed paper hangers.
I was going to say one-legged man in a bucking contest, but yeah, same idea. Sometimes that's how it feels. As lights should be going out on the pace car next time by, and of course, there it goes. My ticker finally decided to work properly. As a Rilson green car, Clapper, and Wolf, your top 5 as they currently sit. And a lot of these drivers looking to get promoted, so need to have those clean laps in, as the league does track their own style of what we normally would call an iRating. The league tracks their own version of that, and anyone under an 80 is not eligible to run the Cup Series. So a lot of these drivers looking to get the seat time and the safety points and laps run to be able to qualify for the Cup Series, even as a substitute.
Well, just as we cross the start-finish line, looks like the iRacing.com pace cars lights are out once again, as we've had 9 laps complete now, only none of which, if you will, have been under green.
We have not got a complete green flag lap in yet, but everybody trying to, work out that nervousness here in the early going. Everybody's going to calm down, and we're going to get to racing here momentarily, as this league is notorious for having long green flag runs. As a matter of fact, they've gone 3 times this season, just in the playoffs, green to checker. So, having 3 cautions this early is very uncommon.
Absolutely. Watching Evan Clapper get just a little too close to that iRacing.com pace car. Almost forgot that this is a simulation. Thank goodness he wasn't trying to push the pace car, yeah?
Doing his best imitation of Tony Stewart. As Rilson has the button, brings him into the Geico restart zone one more time. Here we go.
Green flag, green flag.
Can we get a clean one in? Clapper pinches down on Carr. And here we go.
Nice clean start here as everybody getting through turn 1. Watching the 4 car work around the 26, pretty deep in the field here as Rodney Roberts makes the pass. That leaves the 26 of John Hopley from South Lancaster, Ontario, running down the backstretch. Looks like he's about to be passed by Joey Maines. But meanwhile, Dawson Wise atop the pile. Wow, what a salad bowl we have up here, running in and around 7th position.
We are
and
at that. No, we're not yet.
Well, uh-oh. My timing and scoring showing something bad.
Your timing and scoring is off, but we do have an update on our Championship 4. AJ Green having a throughput issue. Unable to continue, so Xfinity Championship now done and dusted for AJ Green, unfortunately.
And now timing and scoring has fixed itself.
Yeah, it's that latest SDK update that is wreaking havoc with everyone, Dave.
Absolutely. Taking a look right now at the 51. Whoa, just barely sliding in front of the 33. My goodness, Evan Clapper just had himself a Code Brown getting down the backstretch here. That chrome-painted 51 of Tristan Rivers, 14 years old, out of Bennettsville, South Carolina, holding his own against Mr. Clapper, as they are getting the torches and pitchforks out early here on lap number 13. Everybody pretty much single file, allowing Alex Arildson to run away, but he's being challenged now by by the lap car of now John Hopley, who goes down. Jackson Carr next in line, the 16-year-old out of Des Moines, getting ready to get around Hopley now, as he's going to bring around the 2, 3, 4 positions.
Carr's got to deal with Ethan Wolf, as Wolf is keeping him on, as Taylor Butcher Benjamin right there as well. There's 28. Your current biggest mover, though, is way back there at 17. as the number 9 is already up 13, now 14 spots as he works his way around Brian Chu.
The Valencia native here getting around Brian Chu. He now puts the 74 of Jake Brooks in the crosshairs. And Fernando Lopez is on a mission right now as he marches toward the front. We're on lap number 15 of 100, marching our way toward lap number 25 to the end of stage number 1 here at Nashville Super Speedway. And just ahead of him, it looks like Jason Ricketts getting ready to be overtaken by Jake Brooks. Here's the 98 and the 74 trying to find some real estate on the racetrack.
74 working that low lane as the 33 of Clapper pinches it down. Clapper sideways.
Oh my, that's not going to make him happy.
Excellent save though for the Raleigh, North Carolina native. As Mike Hamlin working his way by.
Clapper got himself back onto pace here, but now he's got some work to do as he's got to get around Mike Hamlin and then start to concentrate on Dawson Wise. So Evan Clapper dropping early 7 positions as he had qualified P4 after that little dust up, if you will. And he's got to be driving a little bit frustrated right now as, that's no way to get yourself here on lap number 17.
It is not, as Brian Treadwell and Jeff Weimer going after each other for 19th and 20th. As Treadwell on the top shelf in the ace, Weimer on the low side in the 23, both of them side by side. You can see the heavy damage on the front of Treadwell's car. That is not going to help him at all as this day wears on.
Now, taking a look at Trinity, North Carolina's own Brady Shue.
Oy.
Here, I'll tell you what, take a look at Brady Shue's picture here in the driver information. That cowboy hat says he's someone special right now.
I would have said Florida man, not Trinity, North Carolina.
I mean, everybody needs a hobby as he's got the 45 all kinds of cranked up.
He does at that is Shue is already sitting +8 in the top 10 right now and looking to put some moves on Tristan Rivers in the 51 as the 47 of Hudgens works the outside. Now Hudgens has got to be careful because, yes, you can carry more speed on that second lane, but it does work the right rear tire a lot harder than running a traditional line around this place would.
Well, and Shue right now getting himself around the 51, dives into the top 5 with relative ease as now he's holding off Tristan Rivers. My goodness. All of a sudden, Brady Shue decides after 0 career iSNF wins in his rookie season, he's on a mission today to prove himself.
He is at that. Another guy looking to prove himself is Jackson Carr, as he's already reeled in your current chase leader, Alex Arildson.
Less than 2/10 of a second separating them, Tony.
Arildsen's got to think big picture. He doesn't need to win the battle to win the war, but he does need to finish in front of the other 3. That's all he's got to do.
Well, at a place like Nashville Super Speedway, clean air means so much. I mean, you know, folks, I got to be honest with you. Every time I see Super Speedway, I'm thinking lay your foot on the floor and just cruise around. But Nashville Super Speedway is a handful and definitely not a traditional Super Speedway.
It correct. You know, most of the time when you hear Super Speedway, you think 2 miles and up. You know, Talladega Super Speedway, Daytona International, Pocono, Indy, Michigan Auto Club. You know, those are what you think of when you think Super Speedway, the places where you can pretty much run wide open almost all the way around the place. Here in Nashville, not so much. The only reason they call this the Super Speedway is to not confuse it with the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, which is just across town. James Bowles starting to make some headway in the mid-pack right now as he claws his way into the top 10. There is Bowles on the bottom side working with Ricky Hudgens right now. And Bowles going to wrestle a spot away as Hudgens slams the door on the 44 at Austin Wise.
Yet another battle out here. You know, here's the thing. We talk about it all the time because you and I get to see so many different races a week. This is one of the most vicious leagues out here when it comes to battling. I mean, we see so many leagues that, we'll hang out until there's 15 to go. They're battling from the green flag.
They are at that. As a matter of fact, they're battling trying to get to the green flag usually.
Well, you're not wrong, that's for sure, as we're on lap 24 of 100 with that final lap coming up here of stage number 1. Alex Arildson, Jackson Carr still battling it out for the lead, as Jackson Carr is pulled into a tenth of a second, and it looks like he's going to play this a little conservatively here in that freight machine 02 Chevrolet Camaro.
White flag out, 4 of the stage. Caution should be flying at the end of this lap.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
There it is.
And at the conclusion of stage number 1, it goes Alex Arildson going to take home that green and white checkered flag for the stage 1 win. Jackson Carr, Taylor Butcher Benjamin finishing 3rd. Ethan Wolf, Brady Shue rounding out the top 5 with James Bowles, Ricky Hudgens, Charles Robertson the 3rd, Tristan Rivers, and Evan Clapper make up the top 10.
And we do need to give a monster thank you right now to Curtis Kelly. Gave up his seat in today's race to be race control. So thank you, Curtis Kelly, for being the eye in the sky here for the Xfinity Series championship race.
Talk about a thankless job.
Absolutely.
You and I have dealt with so many different race controllers, whether it's on Sunday Night NASCAR or, oh my goodness, Sim Racer's Edge. A lot of these guys, people complain about them. They scream at them, clear my black flags, and league rules prohibit you from doing so. They take a lot of abuse for a little reward.
They do at that, but with Alex Arildson getting ready to lead us down pit road, we're going to step away, pay a couple bills. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, this is Steven Cherrick. I'm the rear tire changer on the number 24 GMS Chevrolet, and you're watching Sim Racing Media.
And we are back from the Nashville Super Speedway season finale for the iSNF Sunday night Xfinity Series, Sunday afternoon Xfinity Series, if you will. You know what? Let me change that before I forget to do so.
While you change that, we'll take a look at the field as the iRacing.com pace car leads us around. Matty Moniak has decided he wants to come up and lead this piece as he did not come down to pit on schedule with everyone else. Alex Arildson going to be sitting on the outside of row number 1. Jackson Carr going to be restarting 3rd. Taylor Butcher Benjamin restarting 4th with Brady Shue in 5th. James Bowles and Charles Robertson going to be starting 6th and 7th with Ricky Hudgens, Dawson Wise, and Evan Clapper rounding out the top 10. So Evan Clapper on that recovery drive, now down 6 positions, still trying to get back up to the top 5 where he had qualified.
Yeah, but how about Moniak using the strategy to become our biggest mover, going to lead us back to green from that in that Wheelan's deuce. Usually strong on the 1.5 mile tracks is Moniak. as he is going to lead us back to green. There is the Joliet, Illinois native. As we get ready to fire this back off, lights are now officially out on the iRacing pace car. Moniak, Arildson, Carr, Butcher Benjamin, Shue, Bowles, Robertson, Hudgens, Wise, and Clapper, your top 10 as we get ready to turn these guys back loose. As we are far from looking at the finish yet. With only 65% fuel fill, these guys are going to have to come down pit road at least one more time. And under that last pit stop, it looks like just about everybody took a fresh set of tires, which the concrete here at Nashville is notorious for annihilating right side tires. Pace car picks up a little bit of speed as we work our way through the 3-4 complex. Moniak going to lead us back as the pace car is in. Moniak has the button. Into the Geico restart zone they go. When is Moniak going to drop the hammer? Waits late, and that may cost Alex Arildson.
Alex Arildson with a little itchy foot there may have jumped in front of him. I hope that's not the case, as Moniak has already dropped back and taken it 3 wide with the 28 of TBB in the middle.
Oh, no.
And it looks like Moniak is just sliding backward.
No, that's a Arildson sliding, or yes, it is Moniak sliding backward.
Got it. Side by side go the 11 and the 78 as the 11 of Charles Robertson dives down to the low side of the racetrack. He's sucked up right to the rear end of TBB as we haul it back off into turn number 1. The 45 of Brady Shue still holding his own, but it puts Taylor Butcher Benjamin 3 wide here as he gets shuffled back. Oh my, this is close.
Still 3 wide as he's trying to get that car back up to speed after coming on the binder. Taylor Butcher Benjamin is just hemorrhaging spots right now.
Looking way back up here to Brady Shue, who has gotten himself back up into 4th position, up 10 spots right now. He's holding his own, trying to draft up to the rear of Charles Robertson III in the 11 machine. And my goodness, Taylor Butcher Benjamin cannot be a happy camper back here as he is side by side with Christian Delgado in the number 5 Ford Mustang.
And if you take a look at your top 5 right now, 3 of your 4 championship contenders running in your top 5. Arildson leads it, Robertson sits in 3rd, James Bowles in 5th, and unfortunately for AJ Green, that connection problem earlier has cost him the race tonight. As he's said, yeah, that's it, we're done.
Well, Butcher Benjamin on his recovery drive back up into 9th position. Alex Arildson still leading this piece. He's got about 0.3 of a second and a little bit more over Charles Robertson. But, however, Robertson just laid down the fast time of the race so far at 30.69 seconds.
He and Brady Shue both doing 30.69 as Shue bests it with a 30.65 on the very next lap.
Robertson with 19 career ISNF wins and 3 championships. The 26-year-old out of Knightsville, South Carolina, up here plus 17 right now, running in 3rd position. So he has obviously clawed his way up and proven that he belongs up here in the top.
He has at that. He's already got 4 Xfinity Series wins. Looking to get number 5 here as Arildson, 13 Xfinity wins and the Season 2 Xfinity Series champion. So, no stranger to the podiums here is that Bergström Sweden native. And Dave, we seriously need to get you on the Thursday broadcast for the Schwenken iRacing Ligen races, especially considering that as soon as the new year hits, we are going to be back in their Cup Series. You would love some of the creativity that those guys have.
Well, trust me, you know how I feel about paint schemes. I mean, you and I have picked out a couple this year. As a matter of fact, Matt Mettler and I found a favorite in a league that we had called together. I mean, some of these paint schemes, these guys are working for hours upon hours for.
there are Audis, Volvos, and BMWs in the Cup Series for the XFinity iRacing League and on Thursdays.
You have my attention, sir.
Yes.
Well, right now things seem to have settled down for Alex Arildsson, who has built himself a 0.3 of a second lead over Jackson Carr. Carr still being chased down by Charles Robertson, who is quietly, and when I say quietly, I mean you can see that this is why these drivers have multiple wins and championships under their belt, as now it looks like Robertson going to take a little bit of apron away from Jackson Carr. He's going to steal away second position from Carr as the 16-year-old gets passed by the ever-present veteran in the 11 machine.
And with that move, Robertson becomes your biggest mover of the night with plus 18 sitting in second place right now. Didn't have the qualifying attempt that he was hoping for, but now sets his sights on trying to reel in Arildsson. And, you know, Arildsson, they call him the Iceman for a reason.
Well, there's definitely ice water in his veins. Taking a look right now back at Jackson Carr again, who was just passed by Brady Shue. Brady Shue working his way toward the podium as we're on lap number 39 of 100, getting our way toward lap number 50, as that will end stage number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the iSNF XFinity Series Championship weekend here at Nashville Super Speedway. Dave Regal and Tony Trapasso in the broadcast booth with you. Happy to welcome you into our YouTube audience, and make sure that you're subscribing, turning on those bell notifications, and giving us the thumbs up, sharing the heck out of this, because these drivers have the torches and pitchforks out early.
Yeah, you know, these guys are really just picking it up and laying it down. And I'm liking the interaction that we're seeing, but try to keep your comments clean and PG-13-ish. As Bowles and Carr go door to door, Bowles going to wrestle the spot away, moves into the fourth. So your championship, as they currently sit, Alex Arildsson leads the championship. Charles Robertson currently sits second. James Bowles currently sits third in the championship, fourth on track. As Carr and Hudgens now go to door right behind him for fifth.
Ricky Hudgens from Harrisburg, North Carolina. For those of us from the Pennsylvania contingent, that is not us, that is North Carolina. Ricky Hudgens now working the low side here of the O2 of Jackson Carr. They are side by side, and it looks like they're having a blast right now, Tony. I mean, when you're out here on the racetrack and you're side by side like this for multiple laps, especially diving into turns, nobody giving up any room, this is showing off your skill and your ability to hold it so close, because you can barely fit a piece of paper between these two cars.
As Taylor Butcher Benjamin all over the back bumper of Hudgens, trying to either push him forward or make it 3 wide, depending on how brave TBD feels. But yeah, this is definitely when it's fun. You know, it's a battle of skill at this point, but you're also putting a very large amount of your trust in netcode.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and folks, just for a little insight, maybe peeling back the curtain a little, what Tony means by netcode is that's iRacing guessing what your car is going to do next. And it puts a little bit of a digital bubble around your car. And basically, it's assuming that there may or may not be a wreck or contact or something to that effect, which, of course, we've seen thousands of times over the last season.
And some of it has been horrendous.
I'll tell you what, the last iRacing update with the netcode was just this side of horrific.
Yeah, on the rollout day, it was very bad, which is why they needed to do that emergency patch the following day.
Can you imagine being the person at iRacing headquarters up there in Massachusetts going, oh, I've got work to do?
Well,
as finally things have settled out here between the 2847 and 02, and TBB comes out the victor, as it looks like Ricky Hudgens and Jackson Carr were just not able to hold off Taylor Butcher Benjamin, who now is on the low side working underneath Ricky Hudgens, as he is going to come out the victor in P5, back to where he started. Still, your biggest movers in the race happen to be up here in the top 3, with the exception of Fernando Lopez. Charles Robertson up into second position, up 18 spots, Tony.
He is at that. And take a look at that gap that Rildson and Robertson have carved out. They're almost 2 full seconds over your next two biggest movers, the former Brady Shue and James Bowles, both up 11. But they're 2 seconds adrift to that front two. And the lap times they're turning aren't too shabby either. As hard as they're battling with each other, your top 15 are all still under 32-second laps. As Bowles makes a move on Shue coming into 3. Full send-it mode for the 78. Shue tries to defend.
Shue trying to hold him off, and it looks like...
Into the wall.
Oh, he runs the wall. Just as my camera switched over to it, my goodness. That's definitely not what he wanted right there.
Completely pancaked the right side of that Camaro as Bowles' Chevy now starts to claw his way back forward. Seems weird to see James Bowles in a Chevy, considering I'm used to seeing him in the Roush Fenway Keselowski Ford in the Cup Series.
Yeah, it's definitely a little disturbing, but of course, you and I were watching... my goodness, we were watching one heck of a series earlier this season with a Ford that was painted like a Dodge and a Ford that was painted like a Chevrolet.
And it was the same car.
There's something really bad about trying to say the number 3 GM Goodwrench Ford Mustang.
Yes, I felt like I was having a mild stroke every time those words left my mouth.
And then it became the number 3 Stuart Haas Dodge, I can't even do it. Dodge Charger Ford Mustang.
SRT Mustang.
Yeah. I mean, for those of us that are used to saying Chevrolet Camaro, Ford Mustang, and Toyota Supra. Here we are. Oh, no, wait.
That's stage.
That is the end of the stage. Woo! But for those of us that are used to rattling these car manufacturers and models off, that one can just throw you for a loop.
Oh, it absolutely can. But your top 10 under this stage are Rildson, Robertson, Bowles, Shue, Butcher Benjamin, Carr, Clapper, Hamlin, Robin Roberts, and Christian Delgado rounding out your top 10. So with that, we are going to step away, pay a couple more bills, and we'll be back right after this.
Hey, this is Steven Cherrick. I'm the rear tire team.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
Welcome back to Nashville Super Speedway. The iSNF XFinity Series is live here on Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal and Tony Trapasso in the broadcast booth as we have completed the first two stages here in the championship race. And Tony, listen, as the iRacing.com pace car leads these cars around one last time here under caution, I'll tell you what, this has been an exciting race from top to bottom so far.
It has at that. I mean, we've seen exactly what we wanted to see as far as, you know, our championship coming down to who's going to be quick on track in traffic. And right now, Charles Robertson sitting as your biggest mover, plus 18, going to restart to the outside of row number one. Let's see what type of restart he's going to be able to get here, as Robertson has been dead nut perfect all night so far.
Well, and Arilson dodged a heavy bullet earlier on the last restart as Matty Moniak had almost given him the black flag as he had dragged through the Geico restart zone. So a little bit more comfortable now as Arilson going to have control of the field. As we roll through turn number 4, the iRacing.com pace car driver looks to his left. He sees it's clear, dives down below the line. Alex Arilson bringing the field through for stage number 3, the last stage of the 2022 iSNF XFinity Series. He comes into the Geico restart zone, hits the loud pedal, and we're underway.
As Brady Shue immediately goes with him, here comes the 0-2 Jackson car as well. That is not the restart Robertson needed, as now Taylor Butcher Benjamin leads James Bowles on the top shelf. Bowles has got to make some headway. Robertson has to make some headway quickly, or else Arilson's going to walk away with this one.
Arilson walking all up here to the top of the field. As we can see right now, it appears that he's going to lead Brady Shue around just the way that he's done all day long. As Brady Shue up 12 positions with Charles Robertson up 17 positions here, challenging him for this lead. He's got himself out to about a half-second lead, but things going to start to get a little hairy now. Oh my, as we are under caution.
Looks like Bjorn Brostrom having a little bit of an issue. Let's take a look at what happened to the 27 here. Goes into one on the high side. Dives it down and, oh, yep. That started with the 34 of Hamlin. Let's back that up a lap and see what happened to Hamlin here. There you see Hamlin on the high side in that, yeah, he had a lot of help from the 44 there. Oh! And the 10 comes plowing in sideways. Bjorstrom nowhere to go as well. He was on the binders.
You know, I'll tell you what, Tony, I have a 4-year-old who absolutely loves playing with his cars, and it just seems like he just took one car and just slid it sideways, and that's exactly what happened here on the racetrack.
Yeah, unfortunately, the 34 had a lot of help getting that car sideways. It finally dawned on me what I'm looking at. That's actually a tribute scheme for one of the greatest drag racing teams ever, in the form of Soxon Martin on the 34 Hamlin here tonight. But yeah, that was ugly with a capital UG.
Absolutely. And, you know, here we are in championship week for the iSNF XFinity Series. And, you know, that's just a really terrible way to go out for the season. I mean, you know, you've worked so hard all season long, and to end it this way sideways is no way to be, especially when there's no fast repairs and it all came down to this.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a lot of guys that we're just past the halfway mark, and a lot of these guys are already feeling the crunch, if you will. As we've got a lot of drivers down pit road having to get some damage repaired. Joey Maines, Mike Hamlin, Bjorn Brostrom, Casey Tomlinson, Matty Moniak. Tristan Rivers has already had problems in the 51. Rhea Ferris has been on pit road for the last 30 minutes trying to get that car straightened back out. So, of the 31 that started this race, we currently have 29 still on track. AJ Green, unfortunately, has put it on the hauler due to connection issues, and Rhea Ferris had way too much damage on that car to not have to spend the required on pit road. I believe she hand grenaded the engine, so she's at least another 15 minutes that she's going to be sitting there trying to get that engine swapped out.
Absolutely. Taking a look right now at Charles Robertson. You know, here's a guy. Here it is Sunday afternoon, so I guess I've got to do my Chris Collinsworth. Here's a guy who has worked himself all the way up into third position. He's, contending for so much right now. 3 championships, 19 career iSNF wins. I mean, I might have to change my dark horse candidate.
Well, he's looking to get his 5th Xfinity win, but claim his first championship. But again, I'm gonna stick with James Bowles. Late race, never count out that 78 of Bowles. He definitely knows how to turn it on in the late race, just trying to keep the car clean during the opening portion of this thing. He's already got 1 championship this weekend, looking to get a 2nd one tonight.
Without a doubt. So the 26-year-old out of Knightsville, South Carolina, doing his very best here to keep it moving. Stand by as I'm pulling one other thing up here.
No problem.
I'm working with multiple computers now, so every time I try to move my mouse from one screen to the other and I realize I've gotten to the edge of the world, it's a little chaotic. But, we're looking at Arildson, Bowles, Green, and Robertson. And right now, Bowles and Robertson with Arildson in the crosshairs. This is going to get hairy for the next 40 laps once the green flag flies.
And I got to commend Arildson for what he's doing. He's putting Brady Shue in front of Charles Robertson to block off Robertson from getting a decent restart. So he's going to pick up the O2 of Jackson Carr on the high side. The only problem is James Bowles is up there. So this is going to get interesting when we go back to green. As the lights are out on the iRacing pace car field, working its way through the 3-4 complex, pace car gets ready to start to pick up a little bit of speed here as it gets ready to peel on off on the exit of 4. And there
just as we move through there, the iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road. Arildson on the high side this time in that Deuce Whalen Chevrolet Camaro leads Brady Shue on the low side. Shue kind of hungry, but right now Arildson has to get as much real estate between himself, Robertson, and Bowles as humanly possible, Tony.
Jackson Carr going to follow him along. Here comes Shue to the inside of Carr, getting pushed along by Charles Robertson. Robertson throws the block on Bowles coming off a 2.
And that was an impressive block so far, as it looks like Robertson, I'm sorry, I keep saying it wrong here. I finally gotten it right. Robertson working the high side. Oh, nearly making contact with the 45 on the low. He's trying to keep it moving. As I said earlier, this high side, this can be a good line for momentum as we move through the race. But if there's somebody below you, that can take a lot of your speed away, as it looks like Robertson almost trying to side draft his way up into the 45.
He is at that as Shue caught on that low side, not exactly where he wanted to be. As we've seen Shue be very strong on the top shelf. Throws the hip check, and around goes Shue.
Oh, my. That'll bring out the caution.
Let's watch that from the eye in the sky. You see Shue on the low side, Robertson on the top shelf. They're coming off a 2 and down the back straightaway. Shue knows that Robertson is up there, sends it, pinches up, keeps pinching up, and just hooks himself.
Oh. That's no way to be.
And Shue gets kicked. Well, and you can see the smoke coming off of Shue's car as he's gotten into the oil cooler by pancaking the left side of that car. So definitely no bueno for the 45.
Now the 45 going to have to go way to the rear here, as Brady Shue just went from contending for the lead to just an absolute mess as he just putt-putts right down pit road. Alex Arildson still leading this piece up here, the 35-year-old from Perstorp, Sweden. I wonder if he has a line on any Swedish fish. That is my favorite candy, by the way.
Fair enough.
Nothing.
Fair
Just
enough.
saying.
No.
When the doctor finally tells me I'm diabetic, that will have been the cause.
Yeah, there's more than just that, Dave. I've seen what you eat.
That's fair. I mean, it's a thing. Let me tell you, listen, just as a side note here, Tony, let me tell you these words: pepperoni fried rice.
What?
So it starts with, I found a recipe on thefoodnetwork.com. It was one of those 30-minute, you can do this after work deals. You take some you fry some rice, you have pepperoni, you put some other seasonings in there, and mozzarella pearls. It is a thing of deliciousness.
Okay. Well, now comes the difficult decision for Alex Arildson, as that, what you just said is a no-brainer to fix that. But Arildson now has to decide, does he want to pick up James Bowles or does he want to pick up Charles Robertson?
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm Arildson right now, I want to keep Robertson behind me. I would pick him up. You know, here's the thing. One of the most interesting things I ever heard from Darrell Waltrip was, if you're leading, you want to be able to look in that rearview mirror and match the person's line behind you, because then they can't get around you. It's almost like making your car 4 wide all on its own.
Right, but as far as the championship goes, he's got to choose. Does he want to battle Bowles or does he want to battle Robertson?
I think I just assume park it and run away. That's probably why I'm in the broadcast booth and not Victory Lane.
Hey, there you go.
That's one of those decisions where, do I come into pit now? Do I come into pit in 5 laps when I run out of fuel? Either way, something bad is bound to happen.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, you know, I look here at Arildson's profile picture here on the SDK overlay, and he looks like a very confident human being, and I know that he is. I've seen him, you know, with 10 career wins and his existing Xfinity Series champion. But, you know, he looks like somebody who says, go ahead, try me.
Pretty much, yeah. And it looks like he's going to try to battle it out with James Bowles, or give Bowles the better shot, as Jackson Carr going to start directly to his outside, Charles Robertson behind Carr. So that might stack up Robertson. Not exactly what he was hoping for, that's for darn sure.
None of this is what any of them were expecting at this point in the race. This is something that we can't script. You know, for all of the sports that, you know, you say are fixed or scripted, racing is not one of them.
No, there's, especially simulator racing, there's, with the cheat protection that iRacing has, you've got to be like Mensa level hacker to be able to break the game to where you have an unfair advantage. Everybody's driving the same setup, same cars. You know.
And it's interesting you should say about the anti-cheat software. The software in my computer that determines what color the LED lights on my cooling tower are, that software showed up as a cheat.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it said that to me once before, too.
As we are back underway, Arildson gets one heck of a jump over the rest of the field. He's going to bring along James Bowles in the 78. And just behind Bowles is Charles Robertson. It looks like Jackson Carr is still trying to do a little bit of battle, maybe giving Bowles a bump, but that allows Charles Robertson to dive in, and they are 1, 2, 3. Arildson, Bowles, and Robertson for the championship on lap 67 of 100.
This is what we wanted to see. Your top 3 slugging it out in just this fashion. As we are going to bring up the battle box. And there you can see them. Bowles up 13, Robertson up 17. 2 of your biggest movers here tonight. actually your two biggest movers running stem to stern right now.
This is what we've all been waiting for. I mean, Arildson, Bowles, and Robertson, we knew they were going to find each other eventually on the racetrack, and to have finally gotten to it with now 32 laps to go, this is when the torches and pitchforks are coming out, folks. I mean, you know, for you, it's hammer and tongs. For me, it's torches and pitchforks. It's all happening right now. And Jackson Carr is just lurking behind Charles Robertson, hoping someone makes a mistake in that top three.
Well, I don't care what you say, but you can still get messed up with a screw and a 2x4. You know, and these guys are not opposed to doing that to each other. As we are closing in quickly on 30 to go, Arildson just has to keep the other two in his rear view. And Bowles and Robertson are both smart enough to realize that they can't go uber hard this early in this tire run. They're only about halfway through the fuel run right now. Everybody should need to come down pit road for one more fuel stop. Then you put your last set of good tires on and go till the end.
Yeah, right now, I mean, it's hard to even try to look anywhere else on the racetrack. You know, usually by now we're starting to see things spread out a little bit, but right now, biggest gap on the track is between John Hopley and, well, Derek Cook. I'm sorry, John Hopley and Griffin Williams. Everybody else is sub 0.5 seconds. Everybody is out here ready to kill one another. As I take a look at Dawson Wise here from Knoxville, Tennessee, he's side by side with Brian Chu as he works along the low side of Chu, gets around.
Well, you just missed the pass for second then, as Charles Robertson just got by James Bowles and now sets his sights on reeling in Alex Arildson.
Reeling in, he just got a run on him. That's more than a reel.
The question is, who saved enough this late in the tire run to make it happen? Arildson, Robertson, and Bowles. That's your championship battle right now between those three. As Robertson all over the back bumper, Robertson all over the back bumper of Arildson, sends it to the inside going into three, almost pulls alongside. Arildson slams the door, contact in the middle of three.
Arildsson's loose, and all of a sudden we now see side by side for the lead once again. Charles Robertson coming down across the start-finish line. They are coming into turn one hot and heavy as Robertson says, this is my championship to win, and gets around the low side of the Swede, Alex Arildson. James Bowles in hot pursuit, but right now it looks like Charles Robertson going to lead this piece as he is chased down by Alex Arildson.
He is at that, as those two guys starting to pull a gap on James Bowles. And you said it before, Dave, clean air is king here at Nashville. And Robertson has it, Arildson wants it back. James Bowles doesn't have a whiff of it yet.
No, not just yet, but I'll tell you what, so far so good, as now Robertson's opened himself up about a 0.2 of a second lead. And while they've been up here, almost antithetically, it seems like James Bowles has dropped back about 0.4 of a second. Not sure if he's trying to save a little something here for the final 25 laps as we cross the start-finish line. But James Bowles is being chased by Jackson Carr, Taylor Butcher Benjamin on the high side trying to get a run. Rodney Roberts, Evan Clapper, Ethan Wolf, Jeff Weimer, and Ricky Hudgens.
Absolutely. So there is a gap between Ethan Wolf, who's the caboose in this front freight train. Jeff Weimer currently leading the peloton right now, but it's very unorganized back there. The good news is Weimer does have some clean air to work with, but up in front, it's the Robertson and the Arildson shows, just like it was at the end of stage 2. Those guys have already carved out half a second to the good over James Bowles.
Absolutely, and they are not willing to give up anything now, as this is the point in the race where you can't afford to give up anything. I'll tell you what, Tony, we can sit here and let the picture tell the story, but these drivers here, nobody willing to give up anything, is now James Bowles leading a little 4-car, 5-6-car train as it goes all the way back here to the 24 machine of Ethan Wolf. I mean, this top 8 is incredible right now. And Charles Robertson up 19 positions in the 11 car, just opening up a whooping of a lead over Alex Arildsson.
And you can see the gap on the bottom right of your screen with the time delta that Robertson is opening up. He's steadily stretching that gap. That was a big gain right there. Holy cow. That wasn't a step, that was a jump. As you can see the graph at the bottom of your screen, you know, Arildsson was keeping him honest. Now, Robertson's just starting to really pull away. 22 laps to go. You got to wonder, is anybody going to try to get it home from here on fuel?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're buried a little bit further back in the pack, maybe you're able to get off the throttle and save a little bit of fuel. Taking a look right now at Rodney Roberts, who's side by side with Evan Clapper. Clapper working the low side of Roberts, getting around. This is one of those formations that I've talked about so many times on the air, Tony, where I get a little bit nervous when this is only half of that diamond. But once you get that fourth car in the mix, which now it appears they're going to reel in James Bowles, it's about to get scary.
Yeah, you really don't like that diamond formation.
No, I hate it with a fiery passion, because all it takes is the guy in front to hit a little bit of dirty air, and he suddenly collects 3 other cars in the mess.
Yeah.
It looks nice if it's an airplane. It doesn't look nice if it's a race car.
Well, just remember this, Dave. Race car backwards is still race car. Race car upside down is expensive.
Ooh, look at you. Look at you. You know, and here we thought that you were just good at talking to a microphone. You're really a philosopher.
I am.
A stand-up philosopher.
Oh, you're a BS artist. Yes.
Did you BS on Monday?
Yes.
Did you BS on Tuesday?
No.
My dad and I were just having that conversation the other day.
Well, the other good conversation is what I sent you on my birthday.
Which, you know, I didn't get a chance to wish it to you verbally, but again, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you're there in the YouTube live chat. Wish this man, Mr. Tony Trapasso, a happy birthday, as you have somehow gotten around the sun one more time.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You know, there's nothing like getting up in the morning, and you ever realize that that probably a vast majority of the happy birthdays that you get at this stage in history probably come from someone's bathroom? Probably.
That's the safe bet.
Which I feel like is right on brand for you.
Pretty much, yeah. I was dating a young lady one time that she was a truck driver and I was a truck driver, and every time we text after our runs to see, hey, you want to go get breakfast or something, at least one of us was in the bathroom at the time when those texts would come through.
Oh, absolutely. It dawned on me on my own birthday a couple of weeks ago that, I guess almost a month ago, but I thought, gee, a lot of these happy birthdays are coming from the bathroom. That made me feel very endeared to so many. As we take a look back now at the action on the track, Charles Robertson here in the 11 machine leads this piece with Alex Arildsson following closely, about a quarter of a second behind in second place. Jackson Carr running in third. Taylor Butcher Benjamin in fourth. Evan Clapper in fifth. And your last driver up here contending for the league championship, James Bowles, running in sixth position right now. And I'm starting to wonder, Tony, did Bowles cook too much too fast, or is he saving?
The answer is yes. He probably went too hard too soon, realized it, and in a sense backed off the pace. As Arildsson has to jump on the binders, that's going to open the door for Carr to get to him.
Charles Robertson has had a dominating performance, and now it just seems like he's capitalizing on every mistake that every other driver is making, as now it looks like Alex Arildsson is a man on a mission getting after the back bumper of Jackson Carr.
Now the question is he going to lay the chrome horn to Carr to try to get him out and out of the way, as Robertson, about 2 car lengths to the good separation between himself and Carr, as Carr finally gets the clear on Arildsson. Arildsson may have burned those tires up battling early on, trying to maintain that lead, and it's exactly what it's looking like right now. as you take a look at the last few lap times, Charles Robertson last time by 31.7. Orildsen's last time by 31.97.
You know, this is the stage in the race with 13 to go where, and not only the stage in the race, but the stage in the season where, you know, you got to make sure that you're not overthinking it. Charles Robertson has gotten himself to this position in the race by making smart decisions. And now with 13 laps to go, you don't want to make any dumb decisions. You don't want to be a bonehead up here. So at this point, you know, he's got to keep himself calm, stay focused behind that wheel, and just do the exact same thing that he has done this entire race to bring this checkered flag home.
He does at that, but they're coming up on the lap cars, and Casey Tomlinson, usually not one easy to get by in the best of times, as he's going to go down to the low side, leave the normal racing line, and he's now hemming up. He's holding up the leaders.
Oh, my goodness. Oh. And, of course, I know that you can hear it on race radio. There is some screaming to be done.
I can't. You can. I can't.
Oh, my. There is screaming on race radio right now as I have my scanner running. And I'm pretty sure that if there was a time to be able to simulatedly reach out that window and extend the universal high sign, that would be the one from Charles Robertson.
You mean the flying fickle finger of fate?
Yes, sir. He lost the universal joint, had to use his finger. Thank you, Mr. Alan Jackson. As it looks like it really took Charles Robertson out of his rhythm, as now Jackson Carr trying to work the high side. That takes some of the momentum away from Robertson and puts Alex Orildsen directly behind him. That allows Orildsen to work underneath of Jackson Carr and now re-secure second position.
Well, he doesn't have it quite done yet, as Carr getting up and out of the way. Is Butcher Benjamin going to get by him as well? Your highest running Ford sitting in third right now. Your highest running Toyota is back in fifth. But 9 laps to go. Charles Robertson showing the way. Car length and a half separation between himself and Alex Orildsen. This is your championship battle, folks, between Orildsen and Carr.
And what a battle it is. I mean, 9 laps to go in the season. You know, so many times I think it's almost something that we miss, that we've gone through saying, oh, another one in the books or another lap in the books or something to that effect. This is the season. This is the whole championship right here, my friend. And this is exactly what we've been waiting for all season long. The few races that you and I have called here for the Xfinity Series over the last year have been exciting. And now we get to see the culmination of that here in just 8 laps.
We are at that. Make that 7 laps as they come off of turn number 4. 7 to go. Robertson is starting to pull that gap again on Orildsen, as Orildsen has his rearview mirror filled with Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Matter of fact, Butcher Benjamin gave him a shove down the front chute. But Charles Robertson in command of this one. He's just hoping that this thing stays green.
Tony, why don't we ride along with Charles Robertson and see just how this car is handling? Because I'll tell you what, you know, at this stage in the race, especially in a 50-lap segment like we're having here in stage number 3, usually we're starting to see these cars loosen up. These Xfinity cars are known for being loose with a lot of horsepower and torque at those rear wheels. But it's almost like Charles Robertson's just out here running to the grocery store on a nice Sunday afternoon.
You are correct. Keeping that wheel just locked, steady, straight right now. Not even a flinch to speak of. Let's compare that with what Orildsen's having to deal with Taylor Butcher Benjamin there. He's going to see the dirty air right here.
Oh, my.
And you can see just how hard he's sawing on that wheel as the O2 of Carr gets under him as well.
Yeah, this is a view that not a whole lot of people get to see in real life, in real time. And, Orildsen is cycling. He's got to be wondering about fuel.
That's what it sounds like. He cut the engine, stepped on the clutch going into 3. Whereas Robertson, let's see if we can hear it in his. Nope, he's just rolling out of it. He's not stepping on the clutch.
No, it looks like Robertson is full send for 4 laps.
Check back
you know
in.
what?
Check back in with a Rildson. Yep, he's stepping on the clutch. That thing is back to idle now as he's going through the corners. Let's see what James Bowles doing the same thing. Robertson's the only one that's going to try it.
Look, if I'm Robertson right now, all of the chips are on the table. This is what it's all about. And I mean, nerves of steel it has to take, because you and I have been in races ourselves at our respective racing rigs where, you know, you're thinking, do I have enough? Do I have enough? And a lot of times I've found it at Daytona and Talladega, but almost never at an intermediate length track like this. So this takes nerves of steel.
It does. And it's even more important here on the 1.5 miles to, you know, make sure that you've got enough fuel in the tank, because you're not coasting back around. And Taylor Butcher-Benjamin giving Charles Robertson all he can handle right now. Robertson would love to get his first Xfinity win, as well as, fifth Xfinity win. Yes, fifth Xfinity win, as Taylor Butcher-Benjamin would love to get, I believe it's going to be his first if he does it. Nope, 5.
Robertson's starting to fight a little bit of a loose condition here as we're 2 laps to go. He's rolling through turn 3, enters 4, and rolls out of 4. The man in the stand has the white flag in his hand. We are 1 to go in the 2022 iSNF XFinity Series.
Robertson and Benjamin going to have one final shot at each other as we are racing back to checkers. All hell can break loose right now as Arilton has fallen way off the pace, back a 1.5 seconds off of this battle for the lead. Butcher Benjamin going to have one final shot at Robertson. Not going to make it happen, not close enough.
No, Butcher Benjamin just had to back off as Robertson rolls out of 4. He can see the championship flag waving from the stand, and just as he crosses the start-finish line, Charles Robertson is your 2022 iSNF XFinity Series champion, live here on Sim Racing Media. Taylor Butcher Benjamin comes across the line second, congratulates his fellow driver Charles Robertson. Jackson Carr finishing 3rd, Alex Arildson and Rodney Roberts finishing 4th and 5th, Mike Hamlin and Ricky Hudgens finishing 6th and 7th, 8th belonging to Brian Chu. Mr. James Bowles, one of our championship 4, finishing in 9th, and Fernando Lopez, your big mover of the race, rounds out the top 10. Tony, that was one heck of a finish if I ever saw one.
This entire race is everything we could have hoped for as far as final races go. You know, the fact that these guys ran hard, ran clean, and, you know, it came down to who wanted it more at the end. You know, Alex Arildson didn't think he could make it. Charles Robertson said, screw it. If I run out of gas, I run out of gas, but at least I was trying when I did it.
You know, there's got to be something to be said about the nerves that it takes for that. I mean, you know, we've heard it from so many drivers in real life racing where it's, I didn't know if I was going to make it. And sure enough, they do. And it looks like Charles Robertson just took a page out of old school NASCAR and said, it is full send time.
He did it that as, Dave, I believe you've got the man that just won the championship with you now.
Charles Robertson, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. Do you have a copy, sir? Congratulations on the 2022 iSNF XFinity Series crown as you sit here on the start-finish line underneath that checkered flag, man. What a run. I mean, take us through those last couple of laps. Were you starting to get worried about fuel consumption?
Dave, tell him to use his inside voice because he's broadcasting in sim and I can't hear it.
Can you use your, I'm sorry, Charles, can you use the your inside voice as Tony can't hear you on the broadcast? It's clipping you. Yeah, it's clipping you a little bit.
A little bit. I'm not hearing anything coming out of his mic.
Check output.
I can hear you just fine. I just can't hear him.
Charles, stand by for 1 second. I don't want to cut you off, but give us a second. Tony, what do you got going on?
I have no idea. So,
Charles, do you have a button that is specifically for Discord?
should.
Yeah, can you use that please for Discord? Can you go to your Discord settings and set it to voice activation?
Well, while we're waiting on that to happen, let's go. Oh, where do we want to go? Other than straight to hell.
It's Sunday. Charles, let us know when you have that switched over. Ladies and gentlemen, as we wait for Charles to get his microphone situation squared away here.
All right, I got it now.
There we
go. You are. Hey, welcome in. So, ladies and gentlemen, now you can hear the voice of the man, the myth, the champion, Charles Robertson III from Knightsville, South Carolina. Charles, go ahead back to the top there where you were talking about, getting through these last couple of laps. Your competitors were back there cycling their engines off and on, but you kept in the throttle.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think I would have enough to get them, but I just kept my foot in it. I mean, I qualified pretty bad, and I really, when I got up there to the 2, I felt like I was just as fast as him, but it's really who's ever in front, really got that fresh air. The car's a lot better, but once I got out front, I was able to hold them off. So, it's definitely been a crazy playoff. I didn't expect to get 3 wins like this. The 2, and AJ was pretty fast, but that whatever happened with him bringing in people shouldn't even be spotting. So, all in all, it was a good playoff and a good season.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, as the laps kicked down and, you started feeling a little bit of pressure. I mean, what goes through your mind as you're thinking to yourself, okay, I got this far, I can't make a mistake. Do you stay out of your head and just try to relax, or do you start to focus a little harder?
Yeah, I was just trying to hit my marks and not think about them catching me. I was just trying to keep the car on the bottom. My car was plowing if I got into the corner a little too fast, so I was having to back my corners up a lot. But, yeah, I was definitely just trying to hit my marks and not think about who's catching me and who's not.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you were fantastic today. And, as we wind the season down, what are you looking forward to as far as next season and coming back to the series?
That 2 cars will be tough to beat if he comes back. So, just trying to beat him. He's pretty much the fastest guy in the XFinity Series, unless Skylar Carnes or somebody races a race or 2. So, yeah, that's pretty much, getting prepared for that.
Hey, I feel you, man. Well, listen, you ran a heck of a race. You had a great season here. Now you can tick another championship trophy there on your belt buckle. But who do you need to thank before we cut you loose so you can go celebrate?
You guys do a great job. Always watch y'all's broadcasts after, we get done racing. And Rhea, she always does a great job. I've been running her lead for a couple of years now, and that's my 4th championship. So, I'll always keep coming back and running Rhea's lead. She always does a good job. Just, some people come in there and they just have attitude problems and cause a bunch of stuff. But other than that, she does a great job.
All right, man. Well, listen, once again, congratulations from Tony and I. And I think I speak for the both of us when we say not only is it fun for you guys to be out here, but it's also incredible for us to be able to watch you.
Oh, yeah. It definitely was a fun race, man.
All right. Well, congratulations, and we will see you next season, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
And, Tony, I believe next up you should have Taylor Butcher Benjamin.
Taylor Butcher Benjamin came up just a tick short here tonight, but all things considered, not too shabby of a run here at Music City.
Oh, yeah, it was a really good run. Just kind of got mired back in traffic after that close call on that one restart when I hit the bump, and me and the 45 got together. But, yeah, I felt like had some pretty good long run speed, and at the end, one, I was surprised about how good I was on fuel, because I wasn't really saving much, and I was still a half a lap to the good when I crossed the finish line. Then I felt like in the last couple of laps I had a real shot to get under him for the win, but at the same time I knew he was racing for the title, and I didn't want to make too risky of a move to take him out. And so, good way to end the season, and just looking for another good run tonight in the Cup car, and then next season we'll be coming out swinging.
Absolutely. But Taylor, you've had a strong season, not getting the finishes that were indicative of the strong runs that you've had at many of the tracks this season. But definitely looking forward to what the next season is going to bring. Talk us through what type of reformat you're going to be doing here in the off season.
Well, I'm scheduled to be in the 22 car again for the Cup Series, and for the Xfinity, I saw a thing about they might do an iRating cap, which I'm not sure how it'll turn out, but so if I'm allowed to run Xfinity, I definitely will, and definitely doing Cup, so definitely looking forward to it.
All right, Taylor, who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate the podium here in Music City?
Well, thank Rhea, of course, for having me on her team and doing the job she does as the league owner, and good, of course, shout out to the guys up front. That was really fun racing, clean racing for the most part up there too, and really all season long. And of course, thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast, and for the fans for spectating, and I think they witnessed a good show today.
Absolutely. Taylor, again, congratulations on the podium here at Nashville. We'll see you in a couple hours in the Cup car.
Yep, I think it's going to be another good one. I'll catch you guys.
Absolutely. And Dave, I believe you've got Jackson Carr with you now.
Jackson Carr, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I hear you.
Hey man, listen, a podium finish to wrap up the season. You start where you finish where you started here in third position. How are you feeling there, being able to bring that third position home to Des Moines?
A little frustrated. I was definitely faster than the 11 and the 28, but I saved under caution. I mean, I was turning the engine off, everything. I've been saving for the last 20 laps, and I ran out before the line, and they somehow kept it clean. But I mean, they were racing hard. I didn't want to interrupt the 2 and 11, so I probably should have took the chance and probably dove it underneath them. Probably would have got me the lead, but doesn't matter. It was really fun, really good racing.
You know, here's the thing. Really fun, really good racing. I mean, you're 16 years old. It's your rookie season here with iSNF. So, I mean, you know, you're looking forward to a whole new league, you know, or a whole new picture next year. What are you looking forward to in the upcoming season?
More wins. I'm sick of getting podiums. I only have one win. I was at a super speedway, and I've basically podiumed or fourth place every race. So more wins is definitely on the category for next season.
You know, one thing, I'll give you a little insight here. You can be one of those people that finishes on the podium or in fourth, you know, and eventually you will have your dynasty, I'm sure, because, you know, at 16, you've still got plenty of career ahead of you here in sim racing. I mean, look, the Dallas Cowboys were bridesmaids for decades and all of a sudden whipped off 5, you know, Super Bowl wins. So you've got it in you. It's just a matter of being patient for everything to come together.
I 100% agree. I mean, I really hope some really good people join. The racing in the front is beyond grateful. I mean, if you do a B-Fix, it is nothing like this. Nowhere else, any league I've ever had has been this clean up front. So, I mean, it's a little chaos in the back, but up front, man, I couldn't ask for any more.
All right, man. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank for this run in this season?
I'd like to thank Jason T. Middleton. He's the guy that taught me the line. It's a very confusing line. The harder you push, the better your tires saved for me. Burnt Rubber Race and everybody over there. And if anybody's looking for a good UMP Dirt League Checkered Flag Racing League on iRacing.
All right, my man. Well, listen, congratulations on the run here in your rookie season, and we will see you next year for more iSNF XFinity Series racing.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, Tony, it's been a day.
It has, and joining us now, the man who finished second in the championship standings, not for lack of trying, though, Alex Rildson. Not the day you were hoping for, but all things considered, can't be too disappointed in this season.
Hi. Yeah, well, second is first loser, right? Yeah, I mean, I've had a good season, to be honest, with a bunch of wins and a good speed all season. And I thought I had good speed today as well, qualifying on pole, leading more than half of the race. And I guess in the last stage I was saving tires, and I thought I had better speed maybe on the long run than Charles, and was hoping to maybe pass him back again later on. But But in the end, it came down to fuel mileage, and I hadn't paid close enough attention to my fuel. I started saving during the cautions, which was kind of my downfall in the end.
Well, I mean, you had a hell of a run. I noticed that you were at least clutching. Were you actually killing the engine or just clutching there in the last laps?
Well, I only started saving with like 7 or 8 to go, and I was just clutching myself. But I think some drivers do turn off the ignition even during green flag runs.
How much did that mess up your rhythm here at Nashville, being as this is a timing track, a momentum kind of track?
Well, I struggled quite a bit with it, to be honest, to clutch and right foot brake instead of left foot brake, which I normally do. I mean, I know some drivers have a clutch mapped to the wheel, which kind of helps, but I don't, unfortunately. But yeah.
Alex, congratulations on second place. Top 2 steps of the podium in the last 2 seasons here in the Xfinity Series. Who do you need to thank before we let you go?
I want to thank first of all my teammates from Force Esports, and also you guys for making such an awesome broadcast every week, both from the Xfinity Series, the Cup Series, and also the Swedish iRacing League. And I also want to thank Ria and all the organizers for putting on such an awesome league. Right, and not least, I want to congratulate Charles Robinson on a great win.
All right, Alex Arildson, best of luck to you in the Cup race a little bit later.
Thank you.
And Dave, I believe you've got the man who finished on the 3rd step of the podium in the championship with you now.
Absolutely. And listen, Mr. James Bowles, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yo, Redhead, sir.
Hey, man, listen, you put on one heck of a fight today. We were watching you toward the end of this race, cycling that ignition off and on. But, you know, at the end, it just seemed like you didn't have enough for our champion. But how are you feeling now as we've finally waved the checkered flag?
Yeah, this season has been up and down, up and down, and up and down. The last restart there, trying to catch up with Alex and Charles and them. I didn't think we were going to make it on fuel all the way to the end until like 15 to go. I was 3 laps shy. So at that point, when it was 10 to go, I started flipping the ignition on and off and clutching it into the corner, trying to save much fuel. Hopefully knowing that I could coast to the end there. But unfortunately, that was not the case. You know, it's been, like I said, it's been a hectic Xfinity season for me. But I'm pretty humbled that I'm actually made to the Final Four, considering the fact that last week I was 8th in points coming in. So I just want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast all season long, and Ria and all the other admins putting on the league and bringing me in. Do want to thank my teammate Christian Delgado, Derek Cook for the BJM cars. It's gonna be nice now next season, because I'm gonna have Christian come with me on the Xfinity side of things next season for JDM, and I'm super excited for next season for Cup, as I'm going to the 48 for HMS. So I can't say much more better than that. Also got to thank the Poke Empire Discord guys, and the Charmer will get him next time.
The Charmer,
Yeah.
A self-named nickname, if you will.
That doesn't work that way. That doesn't work that way, dude.
I know that doesn't work that way, but when Mark Hanna was here, he had the Honeyman nickname. I thought that was pretty cool.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's fair.
That's only because he drove a honey wagon.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
for those of you who've never been on a farm and don't know what a honey wagon is, don't Google it.
Yeah, don't mess with honey with the beehive either, because that's usually dangerous unless you're a professional.
That's a fair point, but as we look forward to next season, I mean, you just said you've got new teams formulating, and there's only a few weeks of off season before we're back in this thing.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad for that, because this season for Xfinity Cup, and no, we had one for trucks, but mainly in Xfinity Cup this season, we didn't have really much of an off break. We were just like hammered down throughout Daytona all the way to Nashville. So now next season we're gonna have a much bigger schedule compared to this one, I believe, and we're gonna have an off week. So I'm gonna have some time to relax, chill out for a little bit, enjoy the holidays, and come back recharged and join my new teammates over at HMS and JDM for Cup and Xfinity and go out there and win the 500. And I won't be there today to finish out the season for RFK. I know FJ is going to fill in for my car from what I heard, so I hope he does well. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas, everyone.
All right, brother. Well, listen, then we will see you next season, and congratulations on finishing where you did this season, and we look forward to it.
Yes. You have nice holidays.
So, Dave, now we've officially got another one in the books, and I don't think we could have asked for a better race than what we saw today.
No, in fact, you and I were talking before the race, and there's always that question mark, that wild card. Exactly what are we about to see? And, sometimes, even in real life, you come into championship week and you think, oh, this guy's got it in the bag. This one's got it in the bag, so on and so forth. And it turns out this week that it was everything that we really hoped for. Competitive racing, great running, clean racing for the most part, especially as was noted earlier, up toward the front, everybody's so clean and so fast. It makes me really look forward to next season here in the iSNF XFinity Series.
It absolutely does. And, again, I don't think we could have asked for a better race than what we saw here tonight. Charles Robertson winning both the battle and the war. It's a storybook finish for Robertson. Plus 19 from where he started. He rolled off in the 20th starting spot and finished in first. So, you can't get much better than that.
That is true. And, even as we look through these drivers, I mean, it's just for lack of a better term, it is a thing of beauty when you can see all of the pieces come together like this.
It absolutely is. Robertson coming home with the victory in both the race and the championship. Taylor Butcher-Benjamin finishing second on track. Jackson Carr getting another podium this season. You can see just how frustrated he was with that. Alex Arildson, second in the championship, fourth on track. Rodney Roberts, good finish for him, coming home in fifth, gaining a couple of spots on track. Mike Hamlin, Ricky Hudgens, Brian Chu, James Bowles, and Fernando Lopez rounding out your top 10 with Christian Delgado, Ethan Wolf, Jason Ricketts, and Joey Maines rounding out the top half of the field.
Matt Moniak finishing in 15th position. Derek Cook, Jake Brooks, and Chris V with Bjorn Brostrom finishing 27th. Finishing 19th. Griffin Williams, Dawson Wise, Evan Clapper finishing 22nd. Jeff Weimer finishing 23rd. Brian Treadwell in 24th. Casey Tomlinson in 25th. That rounds out the one lap down cars. 2 laps down was John Hopley finishing in 26th with Robert Rowe, Brady Shue, Tristan Rivers, Rhea Ferris, and AJ Green all finishing there as AJ Green finishes 31st. So kind of a depressing finish there for Green, as he had so much hope coming into the season.
He did, especially coming into this race, but the connection issues not playing fairly with him tonight. And Curtis Kelly, thank you for being in race control to kind of herd the squirrels, as we call it here tonight. It's usually a thankless job, but Curtis Kelly did a great job here tonight. But that is going to do it for us for the Xfinity side of things, Dave. We'll be back in a couple hours for the Cup side of things. So he's Dave Briegel. I'm Tony Trapasso. Reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that until we meet again here in about an hour and a half, 45 minutes, call it what you will, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.